Welcome to the 12 Report with Blessings Mosugu. These are the headlines. Sowore's Take It Back movement demonstration successfully holds in Abuja as thugs disrupt Lagos protest. Presidency's intervention persuades resident doctors to drop strike plans. Trump warns Iran to reopen Hormuz or face tough U.S. action. We have our reporters stationed in different parts of the country and beyond. Joshua Imarayi and Sumaya Abubakar are standing by in Abuja, while Alex Ogbonnaya joins from Imo State. We've got the details in a moment. Now, we start off by telling you that activist and politician Omoyele Sowore, alongside members of the Take It Back movement, has taken to the streets of Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, in protest. Among their demands are an end to insecurity, the repeal of Cybercrime Act, and the withdrawal of charges against Sowore. The organizers are also protesting the rising cost of living and what they describe as the shrinking democratic space in the country. We are now joined by our correspondent, Joshua Imarayi, who is live at the protest as we speak and will be giving us more updates. Joshua, what is the latest situation at the protest?
Well, good afternoon to you, Blessings. Where I'm currently live at is the access roads leading to the three-arm zone. When you take a little walk from this side, you access the National Assembly, the Federal Secretariat, as well as other sensitive parts, talking about the three-arm zone. What you can see on the pictures currently are security operatives. What you see lined up on the background is a barricade placed by security operatives. And on the other side are some of the members of the Take It Back movement who have come with Sowore to protest. Now, what Sowore is protesting against is that he wants an end to insecurity. He wants an end to what he describes as bad governance. And he is also saying that the charges leveled against him at the Federal High Court should be dropped immediately. We are seeing a mixture of protesters on the other side and police officers with a mix of soldiers on the other side. On the advancing front are police officers who are watching, trying to maintain law and order, and also stopping these individuals from getting access towards the Federal Secretariat and the National Assembly. And on the other side is the agitating protesters who are on standby, waiting that in any moment from now, if this barricade has been lifted up, they might access the other side. But unfortunately, what we are seeing currently is that they've been stopped from moving and they are currently gathered at the other side. What I can see from the background seems that Omoyele Sowore is speaking to journalists currently at the moment, who try to advance towards him to see what he has to say with regards to the protest. So this is what it is as the ground of the protest here in Abuja. Blessings.
Back movement, but take us back a bit. What is it that spurred this protest again? Because we know that at some point it kind of died down. So would we say it's the court case, or would we say that it's fresh insecurity and fresh cases of corruption that has triggered this movement once again?
For a fact, Sowore is making a couple of demands, and at the bottom of the demands is that the charges leveled against him at the Federal High Court be dropped immediately. But before that, we are seeing that he is demanding what he describes as an end to corruption, saying that an arrest of the SGF should be made. The Chief of Staff to the President, talking about Femi Gbajabiamila. We are seeing that they are brandishing several kinds of placards and posters conveying their message, like Nigerians are angry, what they describe as insecurity, Tinubu hands off Sowore, and a couple of other demands. So it is a mixture of demands here, but it is unclear which is their topmost demands. But in no time, we'll get to learn that from Omoyele Sowore.
Joshua Imarayi, we're going to allow you now to advance towards where Sowore is addressing the journalists so that we can hear from the horse's mouth what exactly is happening here, and we'll come back to you. Now, in Lagos, the planned nationwide protest by the Take It Back movement turned chaotic in parts of the state after suspected thugs disrupted the demonstration. Police later fired tear gas to disperse protesters and onlookers as tensions escalated. The protesters had gathered to demand 500,000 naira national minimum wage and the release of activist Omoyele Sowore, amongst other demands. News Central's crew was also chased away from the venue.
You know that Lagos is a state where thugs are sponsored where, you know, there's high level of hooliganism, and day in, day out, these guys come out, you know, they are sponsored, and, you know, they come to attack innocent Nigerians. This was pre-planned.
Let's talk more about that. News Central's Victor Mbadike, who covered the demonstration, joins us in the studio for more. Victor, what exactly transpired on the ground of the protest? We hear that journalists were chased out. Was that by the thugs or members of the Take It Back movement?
Well, really, that might be difficult to expand, but what we did see was it was barely 15 to 20 minutes when that protest actually began. In fact, these guys were still trying to gather themselves in numbers. And then all of a sudden, we just saw some guys just approached the protesters and told them to leave. You know, we thought it was a joke, but they told them to leave, and they started, you know, beating them up and fighting them. So we quickly had to take cover with the police, you know, to see what we can do, you know, to take some shots and all.
Okay, Victor, so sorry about that. Please hold that thought. We want to go back to Abuja because Omoyele Sowore is speaking, addressing the journalist, and we want to hear what he has to say.
Nigeria must be free. Nigeria must be free. Nigeria must be free. Nigeria must be free. Tinubu must go. Tinubu must go. Tinubu. Okay, Nigerians are wondering, why have you hit the street in demonstration today? Tell us. Today is the 7th year that we commenced revolution now in 2019. But I was arrested on August 3rd, 2019 before the protests took place. And now it did on August 5. So today is the commemoration of that remembrance, to remind Nigerians that we are going to have a revolution in this country. And without a revolution, Nigeria cannot make progress. And that is why we started from Beggar and we came all the way. Our goal was to go to the National Assembly, from there to Aso Rock. But you know, these enemies of themselves have put barricades here. But when the time comes, these ones will not matter. You made a couple of demands. We would like to understand what these demands are. And on top of those demands, we understand that you have a personal one, that the charges leveled against you at the Federal High Court be dropped immediately. Immediately, but that's not only our demand. That the DSS must be removed with immediate effect. That's Tosin Ajayi, for even daring to be violating the rights of Nigerians. The DSS is not his private property. It is Nigeria's property, you know, agency. And we are tired of foolish people managing our agencies. It's the same thing we did with the former IGP, Mbadike. He's gone today. It is time to remind Tinubu to remove DSS before we would eventually come and deal with Tinubu himself. But the sack of the DSS is not the only thing you are asking for. We are telling you our demands. It includes also the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Yes. It includes the implementation of a 500,000 naira minimum wage immediately, without delay, and several other demands which we will make available to the press. But we believe that you have been monitoring our social media handles. You must have seen our demands. Yes. What we came to do today is to make sure we get here. Yes. Yeah. Because they said we can't come here. And we are here. They even sponsor some Oceans to confront us on the way. We broke through their ranks. And some of us even joined us to this place. So that's where we are. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So you just heard from the leader of the Take It Back movement. That is the person of Omoyele Sowore. He's saying that the DG of the DSS should be immediately removed by the president. Top of their demands is that the charges leveled against them should be immediately dropped against Sowore at the Federal High Court. Over to you in the studio.
Right there with the update on the Take It Back movement in Abuja. But still talking about the Take It Back movement, we just got word that Victor Mbadike, who was actually covering this, kind of received a punch or two. Victor, how are you feeling?
Well, while the Abuja folks, the comrades, the Sowore boys, had their way in Abuja. Those in Lagos did not have their way. They thought that they were going to have it easy as always, but the thugs just came up and then disrupted whatever they wanted to do. And we thought that the police was, going to, they are there to protect, protesters from being, beaten and stuff, and, but they just stood there, just watched, and all of that happened. In the course of chasing them away, of course, some journalists had to, run for their lives. And we thought that the thugs were not going to even touch the press. But later they came back for us, and then we had to run for life. I mean, at some point, these things happen in the field. And what we had to leave the scene immediately. But what is most important is that from what I saw so far, nobody at least got any serious injuries, but people had to run for their lives as quick as they could. And we also had to do the same thing as well.
So, I mean, we know that you had to leave the scene, but then are we hearing any word about the security operatives, restoring calming that area?
So, well, it was all peaceful in the first 15, 20 minutes when those guys gathered. There was no issue at all. We had police operatives just around that roundabout in Maryland. I mean, they were all everywhere. So you do not expect any skirmish of any kind to have taken place. But when the thugs came, I thought that they were going to stop them, but they did not. I know when thugs come around like that, it's going to be chaotic. And, people beating, pushed, slapped, and all, and they were just looking at them. So after about a couple of 3 minutes or so, they just fired, these tear gas, although the tear gas does not really, it wasn't really pinching the eyes as much as I expected it to. But I think that was just to scare people away and, chase everybody completely from that roundabout. The implication of that is that whatever protests they planned in Lagos failed woefully because the thugs kept saying, we don't want you here. We do not want any. In fact, they kept on, doing some kind of roving around as far as Ojota to be sure that they didn't go back there to the group. So we could not even mount our equipment to do anything because they were everywhere, even at the funniest and comic places, corners. So to be sure that people were not taking shots. And those journalists who, decided to use their phones to take videos, their phones were snatched. I saw a cameraman chased, and so for us to be really, really careful, we quickly had to run back into our vehicle and just wait and see what happened next. But the truth is, everyone is gone in Maryland.
Okay, before we let you go, Victor, let's even talk about the planned protest in itself. And I did ask Joshua Imarayi the same question. What do you think re-triggered this protest? We know that Take It Back movement has been having protests over and over again, but this looks like a fresh trigger altogether. Honestly,
when I got there, that was the first thing I asked myself, what am I even doing here to start with? This looks like an unprovoked protest. So what exactly are you guys protesting about? And some of them, to be honest, don't even know why they're there. They are just, stammering. Like, what? So except for what was written on that paper, 500,000 minimum wage, end bad governance, Tinubu must go, and those things, like, really? Okay. So basically, just like you heard what the convener said, Sowore himself, it's just perhaps to mark an anniversary, just to prove a point that they are still very active. So much more like that, because basically, whatever they are protesting about, they've been doing that several times. So nothing new, nothing unique about the protest. It's just the fact that for instance, Sowore is saying that his cases in court should be squashed, and all of that. Basically, it's things we've seen over time, and nothing different, nothing new.
All right, Victor Mbadike, thank you so much for joining us and giving us a full brief of at least what you were able to capture at the protest ground in Lagos. Joshua Imarayi in Abuja is still there at the protest ground in Abuja and will be bringing us more updates as well. You're live with us on the 12th Report. We go on a break now and we'll be back with more stories. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors says it is set to suspend its planned nationwide strike following a crucial meeting with top federal government officials at the presidential villa. NARD President Dr. Mohammed Suleiman said the meeting, convened by the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, resolved key issues surrounding salaries, promotions, and allowances, describing the health sector as too critical for disruptions. Gbajabiamila said no country can afford industrial action in such a vital area, emphasizing the need for immediate and lasting solutions. He also revealed that preliminary discussions had already taken place with NARD officials, resulting in temporary resolutions on some issues, while more complex matters were reserved for broader engagement.
I had preliminary meetings a couple of days ago, I think on Sunday, with the president of the resident doctors and the Secretary General, there were a lot of issues that were tabled, which the ministers are fully aware of. We touched on one or two of them, came to some quote-unquote temporary resolutions. I'll go through those ones. And then we left the main issues for this fuller meeting and see how we can come to some kind of resolution that will inure to the benefit of everybody in Nigeria.
In summary, most of the demands contained in the narrow resolutions are currently receiving attention, at least those that are under the purview of the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. And on the youth issue, we had intervened, but the management of youth has also presented a very cogent perspective, which I hope this meeting can then help all parties.
Some of the demands of this association are looked into and addressed as quickly as we can. We have done our best. We have done the necessary follow-ups, and the CBA that we are doing with them, we have almost seen all of them. We have met with all the three labor unions, that is to say, the Medical and Dental Workers Union, the JUHESU, and the nurses.
The truth, 31 doctors have been assaulted, more than 20 other health workers have been assaulted in the last 10 months. And today we have agreed, the Ministry of Health is going to release directives to their hospitals to beef up security, to create safe spaces. About 7 years ago, government started paying us 40% of our actual accrued allowances. This government corrected it in February, but in the implementation of the correction, they didn't cover the entire 7 years arrears. They covered from July 2024. That 19 months backlog from the date it was implemented is what is to be paid.
The Lagos State Police Command has dismantled a suspected counterfeit drug syndicate accused of distributing fake pharmaceutical products across Nigeria and parts of West Africa. 2 suspects were arrested during the operation. News Central's Love Ikuku Oyedokun reports.
What police describe as a major breakthrough against counterfeit medicines has led operatives to a warehouse in the Auto area of Lagos. There, investigators arrested 52-year-old Eze Okudilichuku and 42-year-old Chukudi Umba, who were allegedly repackaging adulterated pharmaceutical products for distribution within Nigeria and neighboring countries. Commissioner for Police Tijani Fatai says the operation followed credible intelligence gathered by the Violent Crime Response Unit.
You can see for yourselves, these are part of the drugs that were intercepted and recovered by the operatives. I want to believe these drugs are counterfeit drugs and fake drugs. And in our bid to rid the state of crime and criminalities, that is why this is very important to us. And we feel if these drugs have been allowed to go into circulation, it will injure a lot of people.
Looking at what we are looking at here, you will see a deliberate act of somebody trying to kill Nigerians. Let me just use that way. Because of is my work, I've seen a lot of this before. And seeing it merely, I know, even before going to the lab, because we have other ones we have seized that are exactly like this. And the lab results for this particular thing have shown us that it's only powder that is inside.
Recovered from the warehouse were about 300 cartons of suspected adulterated omeprazole, bags containing unpacked Viagra, ampicillus, and other medications, alongside hundreds of empty branded cartons allegedly used to disguise the products. Police believe the network had operated for more than 2 years, supplying counterfeit medicines across Nigeria and parts of West Africa.
Here is Auto Bus Stop. Behind me are officers of the Investigation and Enforcement Unit of NAFDAC. They are here with a driver caught with a truck loaded with fake and counterfeit drugs.
What about the business?
For over 10 years.
Almost 10 years. Now we build now.
Yeah, you don't say the drugs, they are...
No be all the times you go see drug. Now depend what you see now you go carry. You see now the work, anything. Some people are now, sometimes house property. Like you want to locate from here to north to Kano. If you carry house property, anything we carry, come.
Investigators say efforts are focused on tracing the source of production and identifying other members of the syndicate. The case has since been handed over to NAFDAC for further investigation and regulatory action. Police also disclosed that attempts were allegedly made to influence officers to release the suspects and recovered exhibits, but assured that investigations will continue until everyone connected to the operation is brought to justice. In Lagos, for News Central, Love Ikuku Oyedoku.
Experts are calling for stronger collaboration between human, animal, and environmental health professionals to tackle emerging diseases and antimicrobial resistance. The call was made at a session organized by the Faculty of Life Sciences, University of Lagos. News Central's Emmanuel Olubobokun files this report.
From laboratories to hospitals, farms, and environment, experts say the health of humans, animals, and ecosystems is deeply interconnected. At the Maiden One Health Conference, organized by the Faculty of Life Sciences, University of Lagos, stakeholders examined how this connection can shape Nigeria's response to emerging health threats.
Preparing the next generation for a changing world could not be more appropriate. It reflects a simple but profound truth. The health of humanity is inseparable from the health of animal and the environment. And I dare say we must not forget the microbes. The health of the microbes is intricately involved with our health.
If we are looking into the future, you cannot use yesterday's solution to solve tomorrow's problem. So there's need to equip these students, not only in the classroom, they should be able to communicate their research experiences, what we have been teaching them in the laboratory, in the classrooms, then they should be able to communicate it in a manner such that the whole world can hear the voice and be able to see what they have done and what they have left undone.
Experts say the spread of infectious diseases across species and environmental boundaries demands a coordinated response, with COVID-19 highlighting the speed at which health threats can become global crisis.
It's a well-established World Health Organization framework. It's built on pillars of biosecurity, and there are multiple biosecurity principles that hold the One Health paradigm up. And basically it is a futuristic thinking that if you don't look after your environment, you can't, for example, have a fish in a fish tank and have polluted water and expect the fish to thrive.
Stakeholders say preparing the next generation goes beyond producing more health professionals to building experts who can connect science across disciplines, stressing that Nigeria's readiness for future health emergencies depends on integrating human, animal, and environmental health. In Lagos for News Central, Emmanuel Olubobokun.
You're live with us on the 12th Report. We go on a short break now and we will be back, so stay with us for more stories. Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Imo now, where the rehabilitation of the Umuguma Road in Owerri West local government area of the state is now underway, promising relief for residents and motorists who have endured years of difficulty using the route. The project follows a series of reports highlighting the deplorable condition of the road, with work officially commencing last month. Residents are hopeful that the ongoing construction will improve accessibility and boost development in that area. Now, our correspondent Alex Ogbonnaya joins us from the project site with an update on the progress of work and reactions from the residents. Alex, what more do you have from the rehabilitation site?
Good afternoon. I'm standing right behind me. I'm standing on Umuguma Road, and behind me you can see that's where the company charged with the responsibility of fixing this road has built their camp. And this follows a series of reports that we've been doing concerning this road, how bad this road has been for so many years. In fact, the road is still as bad as you can think of, but with this development now, I think the people living around this place can give a huge sigh of relief because, in fact, on our way down to this place, we saw signs of some work being done. And with them stationing their camp here, it means they'll be doing this work day in, day out. We have somebody here who we're talking to, a resident who live around this community. Her name is Angel Wokore. Angel, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, tell us, how do you feel that I think the government of the day has remembered your road?
Yes, they have remembered this road. For many years, this road is not well kept. Okay. But they are working it for, but it's not well kept. We have seen it now. But the happiness in this place now is, yeah, I'm standing in the ground of Umuguma. This is Umuguma Road, the road that leads to Umuguma village. But I'm so happy the way I'm seeing they are working now since last month. It's making a proof. I'm so happy, at least now, after working this road, and they are trying to make it large. Expand the road, okay, so that we can have free place to pass, because sometimes rain starts, it's so difficult to walk this side, and people are already parking out from here because of bad road. But thank God, how God have brought somebody to come and make this place nice and well kept. So the work is proving.
Thank you so much.
It's massive. Okay, and good. It's okay.
Okay, you just heard the voice of Angel Wokore. She lives around this area. She's so excited that the Imo State government has started to work on this road.
Yes, they are working.
And we couldn't get the man in charge of this, the company. They told us he's not available. We should come tomorrow. If we're able to do that tomorrow, we'll be able to come and then see him, and then he will let us know the duration, how long this will last, and maybe other details too that we might need to know about the road. But for now, this is what we have. The good thing is the Umuguma Road has been remembered, and work is going on, and we hope in a couple of weeks, months,
the road is
everywhere will be okay.
There's movement.
Yeah, over to you. Back to you in the studio.
Our Nigeria's creative economy is taking center stage as young people trained under the federal government's Technical and Vocational Education and Training (TVET) initiative showcase how practical skills can be turned into thriving businesses. A creative economy exhibition in Abuja is bringing together trainees, industry leaders, development partners, and policymakers to demonstrate how innovation, sustainability, and entrepreneurship are creating new opportunities for youth employment. Our correspondent Sumaya Abubakar is live at the venue. Sumaya, what makes this exhibition significant, and what should people expect from today's showcase?
Yeah, good afternoon, Blessings. Yeah, in terms of talking about why this is important is that we know that the Ministry of Education has invested billions of naira in collaboration with the World Bank in order to train young Nigerian youth when it comes to training vocational skills. And Nigerians, have been hearing about this, but they haven't seen it, firsthand. So the Ministry of Education collaborated with multiple vocational training organizations, starting from engineering, fashion, and other, even agricultural sectors. So this is, of course, one of the schools talking about the fashion angle, where youths come here to, showcase all they have learned and all they have done. And a lot of things are happening here. But then before we, I give you a few things to expect, we have, somebody here with us talking about Professor Ndem Ayara, the manager of Ideas TVET. He's a consultant and a representative of the federal government. Please, yes, sir, thank you so much for joining us. So, explain to us, or walk us through the importance of this and why the government have emphasized on, getting this thing done.
Oh, we've had some unforeseen results from our education system, where a lot of young people are graduating out of school, but because they don't have skills, they have no jobs. So the ideas projects, innovation development, effectiveness in the acquisition of skills came up as a project under the Federal Ministry of Education to train young people in various skills so that they become employable. Where we are today, the School Hunters is one of our TSPs, as training service provider, who is training young people on fashion, design and garment making. So today they are just 6 weeks old, and they are already exhibiting a lot of products as a result of their 6 weeks training. We are very proud of them. From the Ideas Project, they are part of our third cohorts. We've done this successfully in a pilot. The cohort 1, cohort 2, and cohort 3 is where the School Hunters is participating. And they are really showing good signs that the training is going to last for 6 months, and in a matter of 6 months, I'm sure they are going to produce over 100 young people who are talented and have been able to transform their talents from the level they are now to enterprise, where they can commercialize their skills and begin to put forward their products in the market, by way earn more income and begin to bid goodbye to poverty.
Indeed, more income for the country. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Apologies for taking you away from the event now. All right, quickly, we have a trainee here that benefited from this. Thank you so much, Mrs. Ngozi. Please explain to us the benefits of this, just quickly, you know, as a Nigerian, as a young Nigerian.
Okay, there are so many benefits, okay, that accrues from this project. You know, it's about turning our talents into enterprise, all right? Ordinary talents do not pay rent. Ordinary talent will place food on your table, okay? But talents, when turned into enterprise, produces money with which you pay your rent, with which you train your children to make sure that life is a bit, you know, comfortable for people.
So what do you make?
Okay, clothes. Others make, there are people who make bags, others make shoes, but I personally am into clothes.
Interesting. Congratulations and well done. So basically the importance of this is to push Nigerian youth into creativity down to, you know, talking about enterprise. So they've created a lot of garments, shoes and wares, and the plan is to showcase them, and this school and government will help to push them out there so that Nigeria would move from the poverty to the, you know, build or to the budget of 2030, where the federal government is foreseeing $1 trillion economy. Back to you, Blessings.
All right, Sumaya Abubakar there with the update, and definitely we'll see how this turns out. You're live with us on the 12th Report. We'll be right back shortly after this break. Now to foreign stories. The Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has warned that the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo is spreading at an alarming rate, with more than 1,700 deaths recorded in just 14 weeks. The outbreak has reached 3,802 confirmed cases since it was declared in May, making it the fastest growing Ebola outbreak on record. Health officials say nearly 70% of new infections are occurring outside known contact lists, showing widespread community transmission. Authorities say armed conflict, population displacement, illegal mining, and difficulties identifying the first infected patient have slowed containment efforts. A new treatment center has opened in Bunia, but officials warn stronger support is urgently needed as the Bundibugyo strain continues spreading without an approved vaccine or treatment. A warehouse on the outskirts of Kyiv was engulfed by fire after Russia launched a massive missile and drone attack on the Ukrainian capital. At least 15 people were killed and dozens more were wounded in the overnight attack on Kyiv and the surrounding region. Kyiv's military administration says the assault struck residential buildings and several warehouses, sparking extensive fires and causing widespread damage. Ukraine has since conducted long-range strikes targeting infrastructure inside Russia. In recent weeks, it has also stepped up attacks on warehouses belonging to the Russian e-commerce giant wild berries. News Central's senior international correspondent Afia Hagen now joins us for more on this. Afia, this is very alarming. First, bring us up to date. At least 17 people have been killed in Kyiv and the surrounding region. What is the latest now, and could the death toll continue to rise?
This figure from President Zelensky is that 17 people have been killed and 44 injured during that major overnight Russian missile and drone attack on Kyiv and the surrounding regions. Now, those numbers have been going up and down all morning because it is an evolving picture, but at the moment, it's thought that the injured could rise to more than 50. So the attack involved 115 drones. I think those were the ones that caused the most damage, but 24 Iskander-M or S-400 ballistic missiles were also used, as well as Onyx anti-ship missiles. So Russians say that they were targeting places like warehouses, logistics facilities, and other businesses. That's what was damaged, but enormous damage around the capital in central Kyiv. Rescuers pulled 2 people from the remains of a destroyed warehouse. An ambulance driver was also amongst those injured as well. Now, Russia says it targeted these logistics and supply centers that were being used for military purposes, but Ukraine says that civilian businesses and infrastructure was also struck. There's also warnings that there's continued Russian drone activity across other regions, including Odessa. So perhaps the death toll could also rise and the number of injured people could also rise too.
Now, Ukraine says it intercepted many drones, but none of the missiles. Is Russia exploiting a dangerous gap in Kyiv's air defenses?
Oh, absolutely. I think it seems like we are now getting to a phase in the war where Ukraine has this dangerous military vulnerability. You know, they've been asking for a long time that they need more missiles, more air defense systems. Ukraine says it suppressed 98 out of those 115 drones, but failed to intercept any of the 28 missiles. And that's a really striking contrast where in the past, Ukraine still has considerable ability to deal with drones, especially the slower ones, but it's becoming increasingly exposed when it comes to those fast ballistic missiles. And they're particularly difficult to stop because they travel at such high speeds and follow a very steep trajectory. So unless you have specific armory to stop those missiles, then you're going to be in trouble. So the Ukraine's main defense is the US-made Patriot system, particularly those PAC-3 interceptors. But the Ukrainians are saying that the stocks of those interceptors are particularly low, and they've been asking for a while that they need more capability to be able to deal with those missiles. So absolutely, Russia are truly flaunting that gap in their capability at the moment.
All right, now with Ukraine striking targets inside of Russia and Moscow, accused of deliberately targeting civilians, are the drones increasingly defining this war?
Yes, I think they are at the moment. I think they're defining the war on every single level, from frontline combat to deep strikes to economic warfare, intimidation of civilians. Everything that's happening is happening because of drones. I mean, there is a video that's going viral where Russia are being accused of a war crime because you have this drone that's particularly targeting this Ukrainian businessman who was selling something. The drone was literally following around as he was trying to get away from it, and eventually crashed into a van that he hid behind. You know, these drones, whether they're coming from Ukraine or from Russia, are really, really the story of this war at the moment. And Ukraine has dramatically expanded its long-range campaign inside Russia, and those drones have repeatedly attacked oil facilities, airfields, Russia's equivalent of Amazon, Wildberries, like you mentioned, their warehouses have been targeted as well. Nearly 20 Wildberries sites have been targeted since the 20th of July. So yes, absolutely, when it comes to drones, they're increasingly becoming the headline of this war.
All right, News Central senior international correspondent and anchor Afia Hagen giving us an update on the Ukraine war. Would have been nice to know what the gains are for both parties, but we don't have much time. But in the meantime, thank you, Afia, for the update, and we'll definitely circle back as the developments continue. US President Donald Trump has warned Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz or get hit very hard. Iran has tightened its grip on Hormuz and wants to control the strait and charge tolls. However, Trump disclosed on Tuesday that a deal with Iran to reopen Hormuz could happen on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Iran's foreign ministry has denied negotiations with Washington, even as Trump insisted they were happening. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that the United States was involved in negotiations between Oman and Iran on increasing traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. Well, that's all on the 12 report today. Sending your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen because we want to see what you see. Follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Blessings Musugu.